Hello, this is Dora from the Maya Spirit with a short video. This is about um, learning how to read intuitively. Maybe the best way to read cards and creating it your own way at the same time. There was a short list that I read a long time ago in one of the books, and I was sure it was Sylvia Brown. And you know what? I went to the library, found the book, and I found the little list about the 22 Arcana. Her little list, it may help you, may not help you, but there may be a card or two that you're having trouble with, it may help you. And I'll also show you a system that I've been using after reading for 30 years. You learn to, what I call is breaking codes. Like when you start reading, I guess it's intuitive or whatever. You get certain cards, and you'll learn what those cards mean. Just the way a person that is who can psychically channel someone or get a message from them. Like they'll give a message, they'll pull their ear, which means listen, or they'll touch their shoulder, it'll mean something else. Like they'll see symbolisms that equal that, and that's the way you'll learn within time what certain cards that you have that speak to you and what they mean, depending on the question, if that makes any sense to you. And some people are having, I've noticed a lot of people are asking me questions about the tarot and how to read and all that. Within time, you will learn to develop your own. Anyone can learn the basics of what the cards are, but it takes years and time to really understand the cards. I think there's a big difference that I've been noticing a lot on videos that I see. There's a difference between just making up what you think you see and reading intuitively. I've had some not so great readings, not that I did the readings, but I went to go get readings from people out of 6 throughout my life. 6 readings that I've had throughout my life. 3 were very bad, and I'm not going to say who they were or anything like that, but it's people to claim to read intuitively, and it's more just making it up as they go along. It's one thing to learn as you're going along and learning to look at the cards, and that is part of your training, but you can't be charging people for something that is not really, you don't know the codes to, or you don't know what you're looking at just yet, and you're just starting out, because it's harder for us that read cards professionally and people to have trust in us that what we're reading is correct. Okay? And this is not to look bad at anyone. We all have to go through our training and learning of how to do things. So everybody has that little white book, which is also a great way to learn what the cards are, and then later intuitively what they mean to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm just going to give you this little list here. There are many beliefs that I do have over the over cards, but I'll read you a little bit of what Miss Sylvia Brown put on here. If you want to know about psychic abilities, and she did read the tarot cards at the beginning of her career. I suggest that you do read some of her things. She's not the know-it-all of everything, but I think she's a very wise person that you can learn a lot from. And she wasn't tarot cards were not her favorite thing. She did read them, like I said, but it was never her thing. And I was surprised after she died that I found some oracle cards from her. But at the same time, not surprised that they were oracle cards and not tarot. So here's a little bit of what she wrote. She says the tarot is the meaning of divination through the use of pictorial, artistic cards, each of them with its own name, image, and significance. There are several theories about the origin of the tarot. Some believe it has its roots in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, which one of the things that I do believe. They weren't called tarot back then. They were more of a psychoanalytical type of cards that they would use, or paper that would use the Hebrew letters and the meanings, and they would be burnt at the end. But they weren't called tarot, and I think that's a debate that people are saying when tarot began. What they were back then And then later, as far as they can see here, is in the 1400s in Italy, they started calling them tarot cards. And then they added the Minor Arcana and so on and so forth. So I'm not gonna go into that much. So I'll just continue reading. While others feel that certain that the tarot decks were created and first used in northern Italy in the 1400s, the symbolism portrayed on the cards has varied over thousands of years and during the evolution of tarot readings. Because of that varying symbolisms, there have been theoretical, philosophical links to everything from the Kabbalah to alchemy to Christianity, and I would throw in there psychology and, the other, which is spirit guides, anything on the other side that's connecting with you, etc. Whatever the variations in the artwork from one tarot deck to another, all decks involve the same basics. The 78 cards in a traditional deck are divided into two categories, the Minor Arcana and the Major Arcana. Now, modern day tarot decks are completely different. People make them up as however they want. Sometimes they'll add a card, subtract a card, split them in half, do other things, but that's the artists themselves and the intentions that they have. Sometimes you'll see cards that are just put in together just because what they think the cards mean, and then other people with a lot of experience have, excuse me, my throat is killing me right now. Shoot, where was I? Oh, about the cards. Some people, I don't know if this whole thing should be about the whole thing about cards and how they're being used in modern day. Maybe that might be another video. But anyways, she talks about, this was written a long time ago, about how the basics, 78 cards. The elements, the suits, the court cards, the Major Arcana, etc., etc. So I'm just going to read off very quickly what she wrote. And I'm not going to put in my 2 cents of what I think the cards are. I'm just going to give you the basics. So here we go. We have the Fool, aspiration towards limitless potential. Magician, manifesting ideas and goals into realities. High Priestess, the balancing force between the conscious and subconscious minds. The Empress, the activity and imagination found in the subconscious mind. The Emperor, orderliness, a systematic approach to the way thoughts are transformed into realities. The Hierophant, the wise teacher, the inner self and intuition. The Lovers, relationship, partners, the blending of two things that are sometimes opposites but still compatible. And we're only reading the cards right side up. The Chariot, the soul and the ability to express it. Strength, control over material forces. The Hermit, elevated wisdom, holding a lantern to light the way for others. Wheel of Fortune, the true understanding of the inner self. Justice, righting past wrongs. Hanged Man, an indication that not everything is as it appears to be. Death, transformation and rebirth. Temperance, the negative, male and female, conscious and subconscious, good and bad. It's pretty much the balance. The Devil is foolishness when facing facts and circumstances. The Tower, sudden jolts of insight and understanding. The Star, gathering and sharing universal knowledge. The Moon, evolution and the soul. The Sun, the fixed, objective, all-embracing nurturer. Judgment, spiritual understanding. and the world, the continuing understanding of the cycle of life. Okay, so that was her list. And what she also wrote on there is that, of course, the key of successful tarot readings is the interpretation of the cards, which depends not only on each card's meaning, but also on the relationship of the cards, each other, and what's usually referred to as spreads. After the deck is shuffled, there are several different patterns or spreads in which the cards are arranged by the reader and then interpreted one by one as the cards are turned over. Okay, so it goes on about a different type of spreads and things like that. And as time goes by, you'll learn to what I call, I don't know if I said that at the beginning, but it's breaking codes, which means as you read, after 30 years of reading, you kind of learn how to work with the cards and what they mean, just the way someone that is a psychic is seeing someone else, that they're seeing, they're speaking or channeling, not channeling. For example, if you ever heard of Teresa Caputo, how she can connect with the other side that are trying to give a message, and she'll say that, she'll see something, she'll see the spirit jumping up and down, it signifies something, that they touch their shoulder, it means something, that they're pointing at something, that they'll show a rose and signify something. Same thing with the cards. As you're asking, you'll know what the cards are. There'll be certain ones that are more like that, and the ones that work like that with me is something like this. Even though it says decorate up here, it means other things. Changing scenery could also mean, depending on what the question was, sometimes new friends, in new locations, you need to get away from where you're at. Detox, this one card has gotten so many different readings. I've gotten it as for diabetic, taking care of themselves. Other people have been actually someone that just had a DUI on a reading. They got this one directly from them. So it means different things to different people. Some people that have stayed away, whether it's God or the universe or whatever it is, they know what it means. And as time goes by, you learn to break codes on different cards, and you'll learn how to explain it to them in the best way. And a lot of cards sound so simple, but you'll know what it means. Like this, clean up the message, just depends what the reading was about, and it's especially when you're reading. I've had successful readings via phone. I prefer face-to-face, and what do they call it? Like live readings is what I like. I don't like, I don't need to have a lot of time. It just happens really fast. It just comes to me and I say it, and I say what I have to say, and I never remember what I just told people. So a lot of times they'll come back, they'll say, remember what you said? This and this and that happened. They'll come back and clarify, and you learn. Unfortunately, after 30 years, I never kept track, never kept the book on what things meant, particularly for cards and spreads like this. Like I see these cards, I know what they mean under the books, the little white books and all that. New beginnings. Sometimes this means smoke and mirrors, trickery. It also means working hard, depending on the things. You're doing it all, or someone else is doing it all, depending on how the reading goes. Sometimes when they're looking for advice, it'll show someone is trying to give advice to that person, and it's someone that is wise and blah blah blah. This also means, because of the pregnancy, a thought or a seed to something, and I could go on and on forever. Hierophant, also the same. It doesn't have to be a religious person, just someone with knowledge, with the best intent for you, to help you out, that is giving you advice. Relationships of different kinds. This card also means a trip, short trip, long trip, whatever. But I could continue on another video, but I meant to make a little short video just on Sylvia Brown's book, and also how to break codes. And as time goes by, like everybody suggests, keep a book. And for now, my time is running out. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something. This is not a debate, but you can give your advice below. Thank you very much, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.